Guys, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, back with another video, a video I have worked very hard on. This is a video that's been in the works for about 3 months. I've been waiting for the most recent Arc 5 opening and ending to come out, the 6th one. I promise I will get off your screen in literally like 40 seconds. Just want to make a quick disclaimer. If you are watching this way in the future, that is awesome. These are only the openings from Duel Monsters until Arc 5. But anyway, this number right here, these are the odds that you have the same exact list as another person. Meaning it's impossible to have the same list as another, not impossible, but it's astronomical. So this is a very unique list. I hope a few of you do attempt to make it. I go individually, all the individual shows, and then I do the big one at the end. So if you want to just skip 8 minutes until the end of the video to see my big lists, that's perfectly fine. I hope a few of you do attempt to do a top 26 list. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching, for the support as always, and I really hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so let's get right to it. By the way, there will be no Season 0, there will be no movie themes or anything like that, but I am going to do the English dub themes, as you can see right here, along with the best openings in terms of the entire shows and the best endings. So, my favorite English themes going from bottom to top. Zexal's second is my least favorite. Get Your Game On, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is fourth. Can You Feel the Power, Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is third. Hyperdrive 5Ds is second, and then my favorite is Take a Chance, which is Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's first opening theme. So it's funny that Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's first opening in the English dub is my favorite, and their second opening is my least favorite, but of course, that's the only English version that ever changed openings halfway through, which I thought was kind of dumb, but I guess it's because they made Zexal kind of two parts, even though it really was, I consider it as one show. I think most people do, but I guess that's the reasoning for that. The best openings in terms of the entire show is GX, Arc 5, 5Ds, Zexal, Duel Monsters, and the best endings, 5Ds, Arc 5, Zexal, GX, and Duel Monsters. GX, I think, has the best openings. I think this is a case of quality over quantity. I know they only have 4 openings, but I think they are 4 very, very good openings. I really love them, and it's kind of a shame that their endings are pretty forgettable. I'm not a big fan of GX's endings, as the reason they're 4th on the list. Arc 5 and 5Ds consistently good. Zexal has better endings than they do openings, in my opinion. And Duel Monsters, I put at the basement, and I'll get more into that on the next slide of why I really think Duel Monsters is... You know, I think they get a pass on why they are, in my opinion, they have the weakest openings and endings, and I'll get into that in just a little bit. So here is my favorite openings in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. We're going to start with Overlap as my favorite, Warriors, Shuffle, followed by Wild, Drive, and Voice. And, you know, besides Warriors and Overlap, I think the other 3 aren't really that good. I think, you know, Pendulum Beat, the new Arc 5 opening, reminds me a lot of Wild Drive, the way that that's sung. Very punky and edgy, and I'm not really a huge fan of that style. I think Overlap and Warriors are kind of in a league of their own in these openings, and I think Overlap especially is in a league of its own. That is a very, very good opening. But the reason why I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters has my least favorite openings and my least favorite endings is because I don't think there was as much emphasis put on the openings and endings in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh! As there is now. And I think because of that, they didn't really try to make, I don't want to say try to make good songs, but I think, and it got better as the series went on. That's why the last 2 openings are my favorite openings. But I think Duel Monsters kind of gets a free pass because I feel there wasn't that much emphasis put on the openings as there was put on the overall story. At least that's just my opinion. My favorite endings are Eyes, The Afternoon of That Day, Energizing Shower, Paradise, and These Overflowing Feelings Don't Stop. And I gotta tell you, besides Eyes, which I think is actually a really, really good song, I think the other 4 are very forgettable. I am not a fan of these endings at all. They're very slow. The Afternoon of That Day, the visuals are pretty good, which is why I put it in the number 2 spot. But I have to say, and that song isn't bad too, but a lot of these songs are very slow, the visuals are just kind of boring, and again, I think it's because there wasn't as much energy and resources put on the openings and endings as there is nowadays and in the more recent Yu-Gi-Ohs. So I think Duel Monsters does get a free pass. With that being said, Eyes is a gem in this whole situation because Eyes is a really great song. If you haven't listened to it, I highly suggest you do. It's a really good song. It is my favorite ending and maybe my favorite opening / ending in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Moving on to Arc 5, my favorite Arc 5 opening is Precious Times, Glory Days, followed by 99%, Teardrop, and Fine Weather Rising, Hallelujah. 99% and Teardrop are both done by the same artist, Bull. Very great song. I mean, they're more slow songs, but they are just powerful songs. Precious Times, Glory Days has that whole rock and roll feel that I really like. I guess you would maybe consider it J-rock, maybe that's a subcategory of J-pop, I'm not too sure, but I really love that kind of style of music. Find Mother Rising, Hallelujah, even though it is my least favorite GX opening, it's still a very good opening, and as I said, I think GX has the best openings. This is a case of quality over quantity, in my opinion at least. And the endings for GX, kind of forgettable, which is a shame. My favorite being Endless Dream, followed by Borderline Battle, Wake Up Your Heart, and then Sun. Borderline Battle is okay, Endless Dream is good, and the bottom two, Wake Up Your Heart and Sun, I'm just not too big on. I think the visuals are kind of boring, and I think the song, again, Sun is kind of more, it's a little too punkish for me. I think you guys kind of understand my taste in the Yu-Gi-Oh openings and endings and in music in general. So it's a shame because I think Yu-Gi-Oh GX, as I already stated, has the best openings, but the endings are a bit forgettable. Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. My favorite 5Ds opening is Going My Way, followed by Last Train, Believe in Nexus, Freedom, and Kizuna. I love all of these Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds openings. In fact, the fact that I had to put Freedom solo speaks a lot about how good the show is in terms of openings and endings. And I know some people have commented that don't like 5Ds, and they say, I only watch 5Ds for the openings and for the music, and it's like, and the endings, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I can't blame you there. The openings and endings are really enjoyable. Kizuna, that bottom one though, really not a fan of that song at all, and it's funny because that's just kind of an outlier here, because for the most part 5Ds, besides Kizuna, I think has incredible openings, and I think better than their openings are their endings. I think that has the best endings in terms of any show. My favorite being Close to You, followed by Ozone, Future Colors, Cross Game, and Start. Start is another one that is a bit of an outlier, but Cross Game is such a great ending. I love that song, and the fact that I actually had to put it fourth on this list blew my mind, but I just love Future Colors, Ozone, and Close to You more. 5Ds, great endings, just great music in general. Now we move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, where my favorite opening is Soul Drive. Zexal is the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that my favorite opening was not the last opening that was done. Wonder Wings comes in the runner-up spot in number 2. Braving, which I know is a big favorite in the community, number 3. Unbreakable Heart, followed by Masterpiece, and Dualism of Mirrors. I have to say, they're all good songs. Besides Dualism of Mirrors, I actually really don't like Dualism of Mirrors. I'm not sure why, I don't enjoy it. Masterpiece, you know, you have a Japanese girl rapping, so that's always cool to listen to. Unbreakable Heart's got that da-na-na-na, you know, it's got that riff that just gets stuck in my head, and then the top 3 are good. Zexal does have some pretty good openings. The endings, of course, it was going to be Challenge the Game as my favorite ending, followed by Artist, Longing Phrygia, Go Way, Wild Child, and My Quest. So those are my favorite endings in Zexal. Challenge the Game, I think, is on its own platform, in my opinion, out of all the Zexal endings. And now we have Arc 5. If you watched my podcast with Rarity Fangirl and Midnight Synchro Banana about the Yu-Gi-Oh! 6th opening and ending, then you already know my list, but I'll read it quickly. It is Burn, followed by Unleash, Light of Hope, Trump Card. Pendulum Beat still has not grown on me, so it has not changed its position. And Believe. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 endings are Speaking, Future Fighters, Arc of Smile, Dashing Pendulum, Vision, and One Step. So now we are going to get to the big list, guys, the top 26. We're going to start with endings, and I'm going to show you my 11 to 26, then my 6 to 10, and then my top 5. So here is my top 26 endings in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And again, I do hope a few of you attempt to make this list for yourselves. It was not easy to make, and as you can see, I am very harsh on Duel Monsters. 3 of the 4, and I already stated it that I really do not like the Duel Monsters endings. 3 of the bottom 4 endings are Duel Monsters endings. Then we have Start, then we have 2 Zexal endings, followed by Wake Up Your Heart. We have Arc 5's first ending, which actually makes the top 18. Go Way in 17th, the afternoon of that day in 16th. And then, here's the thing with Arc 5, Vision, number 15, there has to be an asterisk there. If I did not take visuals into account, and again, I take it into a very small account, only like 20-25%, but I do consider visuals when I went over this list, and the visuals are just so bad. They really are bad. If this was just a pure song list, and I just rated it only based on the music, Vision is probably in the top 10. It actually is definitely in my top 10. It's one of my favorite endings in terms of music, but the visuals were so bad, I couldn't move it higher. The new Arc 5 ending, Dashing Pendulum, is not much higher than Vision. It is in the number 14 spot. Then we have Borderline Battle, followed by Zexal's second ending, and then the second 5Ds ending that is on this list comes in at number 11. Almost every 5Ds ending except Start made the top 10. Cross Game just missed out. on the top 10 favorite endings. So now, here is my 6 to 10. Zexal's Artist just cracks the top 10, followed by the only GX ending that's going to make this top 10, which is their final ending. Arc of Smile comes in at number 8, and again, that Duel Monsters 5th ending, Eyes. If you haven't heard it, it's an old song, but listen to it because it is a really good ending. It's the only Duel Monsters ending that makes this top 10 list, but it's just a very good ending, and it almost even cracked the top 5, and for, Duel Monsters endings, as bad as they are, that song really is a hidden gem in my opinion. And then Arc 5's Future Fighters at number 6. So, what is my favorite ending in all of Yu-Gi-Oh? My favorite ending is Challenge the Game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal's final ending, followed very closely by Close to You, then followed by Speaking, and then another 2 more 5Ds endings, which is Ozone and Future Colors. So 3, and I knew 5Ds and Arc 5 were going to dominate this. 3 Arc 5 endings make the top 8. 3 5Ds endings make the top 5, and 5Ds and Arc 5 are my 1-2 punch in terms of shows with the best endings, and I really feel like those shows are on a different league when it comes to the endings. And if Arc 5's final ending was just a little more enjoyable for me, Dashing Pendulum, Arc 5 might have had the best overall endings, but again, I put that down in the number 14 spot. I wasn't too heavy, and if Vision had better visuals, Vision definitely would have made this list as well, but 3 5D songs make the top 5, and Cross Game just missed the top 10, so 5Ds to me just has incredible music, incredible endings especially, but Challenge the Game, while any of these 5 songs or any of these 10 songs maybe can challenge the game, sorry for the pun, in terms of lyrically and musically, the fact that they went an extra step and they have about 6 or 7 different versions of this song, or this ending I should say, not this song, where every time a character died, they would give a tribute video, and the fact they put that much extra effort, I couldn't put it at the number 1 spot. It is a magnificent song. The fact that they put in that much effort to do like 7 different versions every time a character died, puts it above and beyond. Close to You, almost my favorite ending, just missed out. Speaking is another really good one, and I mean, really, all 10 songs here are really enjoyable, but the top 5 for me, I mean, Future Colors is only my 3rd favorite ending in 5Ds, but it still makes the top 5. I think that's just how loaded 5Ds is, but Zexal's Challenge the Game is my favorite ending in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! So now moving on to my favorite openings. My least favorite opening is Kazuna. I already kind of ripped on it, 5D's first opening, and that is followed by Duel Monsters' first opening, then Zexal's Dualism of Colors, and I know the one everyone's probably looking at right now if we move up to the 19 spot is the most recent Arc 5 opening, Pendulum Beat. It still hasn't done it for me. I listened to the full version and that made me actually dislike it even more because the second verse is even more punkier and edgier, and I'm just not a fan of it. It hasn't grown on me, and I don't think it will. And I know 2 or 3 of my friends in the community love this song. One of the girls that I did the podcast with put this song as her favorite Arc 5 opening, and one of my friends actually made a video discussing how much he loved the song, so two people that I am close with in the community will probably rip me for that, but it just hasn't grown on me, and it barely cracks my top 20. In number 18, we have 5D's third opening, Freedom. In the number 14 spot, GX's only opening in the bottom percentile makes this list, and that is Fine Weather Rising, Hallelujah. GX, all the other endings make the top 10 for me pretty easily. Zexal's Wonder Wings. And my favorite Duel Monsters opening, which is Overlap, just misses the top 10. No Duel Monsters opening makes the top 10. The only Duel Monsters song that does make the top 10 is Eyes, which again is a really good ending. And, I love Overlap. I like a lot of these songs, but the problem is there's just songs that I enjoy a little more, so no Duel Monsters opening makes my top 10. Moving on to my 6 to 10, we have GX's third opening, which is Teardrop, just making the list, followed by my favorite Zexal opening, which the only Zexal song to make the top 10, which is Soul Drive, and then we have back-to-back Arc 5 openings in terms of Light of Hope and Unleash, and then we have another 5D's opening, Believe in Nexus, at number 6. So my favorite opening in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! You already know my favorite ending is Challenge the Game. We have 2 GX songs and 2 5D songs and 1 Arc 5 song remaining. What will be my favorite opening in all of Yu-Gi-Oh? My favorite opening is Going My Way, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's final opening, very closely followed by Precious Times Glory Days. Last Train, another 5D's opening, is in the number 3 position, followed by Burn, my favorite Arc 5 opening, and then my second favorite GX opening, 99%. Really, there was a time where, especially the top 4, I would have said that Precious Times Glory Days was my favorite at one point, Last Train was my favorite at one point, Burn was my favorite at one point. So even though there is definitely flexibility over time, this is my favorite list right now. 5Ds just did an amazing job, and I know the story kind of got a little stale after the Dark Signers arc, I am aware of that, but I think it really kicked up in that 5th season when Opening 5 and Ending 5 took place, and the music was just always great. I mean, they have songs, Masaki Endao, Clear Mind, and Yosoko no Melody, which aren't even endings and openings, which are full 4-5 minute songs that are done, and they're not even openings and endings. You Say by Levi is another one. Just really, they really put in a lot of effort to their music, and I think they really, they reap the benefits, and I just kind of wish that middle part of 5Ds was a little better. But nevertheless, Going My Way is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds opening. I really hope you guys attempted. It was a lot of fun to make. It was very time consuming, so I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment down below. I hope some of you do attempt to make a top 26 list, but if you want to make a top 5, top 10 list, that's perfect as well, of course. I cannot wait to read what you guys have to say. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a great day. Masaki Endao, take us out.